Bum, bum. Hey, everybody. Actually, can you guys talk for a second for me? Just yeah.
Well, yeah, you can hear the sound of my dog biting a bone.
Something from you, Nabishin, just for a second. I just want to make sure the audio is all right. Hello? Hello?
What?
Can you just say a thing so I can hear it through?
Oh, okay. That was it.
Okay. Yeah, it's coming through. I was like waiting to see if you go on a tangent, but I'm not always that powerful. All right, because I was just formatting the audio a little bit differently this time. We're about to do that video game podcast. Hold on, let me retweet. And where's my inhaler? Get my pre-show puff on. Thank you all for being patient.
Hopefully the connection and everything is good in my new place.
It's solid so far.
Yeah. I don't have my router right yet until for another week or so. So the connection isn't as good as it will be.
Okay, got it. That was the move. I'm sorry I couldn't help you guys.
It's fine. Scott and I got it done pretty quick.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Nice place.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, it's like just big enough for me.
Sure.
So.
Are you gonna get a pet now?
No, probably not.
Okay. I understand. I was just.
Given his situation, you probably can't.
Yeah, probably not. All right. It is Sunday, September 6, 2020, and you are listening to the Irrational Passions podcast. I am Alex O'Neill, your podcasting host for this podcasting adventure, and joining me, as always, Mr. Scott Guthier.
Hello.
Mr. Tony Horvath.
Hey.
And Mr. Brian Nabishin Jackson.
You are.
You see, you are all I have.
No, I just mumbled something, honestly.
That works. Hey, mumble rap is in. That's what all the kids are listening to. It works for somebody out there. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Rational Passions Podcast. It's a show where we talk about video games, and sometimes we feel the beating heart of those games in our souls. Sometimes not. But today we have a very good show, as per usual, lined up. The four of us back together again. Nabishin, you were away last week, so we got a little weird. As it usually goes, anytime Nabishin's not around, we just start talking about flight simulators for 2.5 hours. But we are back together again, and I'm excited. I'm excited to talk about some games with you guys. Obviously, we are still we haven't commented, or I haven't commented on, but I've been naming the YouTube videos the weeks in which we are quarantined, and technically in the quarantine. And it's week 23, feeling good about how if Alan Wake can figure a way out of his situation, I feel like we can figure a way out of ours. So we just gotta hang in there. So I'm sending positivity to everybody else out there. Let's start off with a little bit of housekeeping. Irrational Passions podcast, product of irrationalpassions.com. Some stuff happened there that I wanted to shout out. I talked about this, I think, last week. But I want to shout it out again. Nabishin and I sat down. We talked about first-party exclusives for this console generation. Have you gone back and listened to this one yet, Nabishin?
I did, actually.
Okay. That's why I asked, because you had posted something about it, and I didn't know. How did you feel about it going back and hearing after the fact?
It's good.
Do you think we were fair?
Yeah, it's not really about being fair. It's about, like, you getting stuff out that you always wanted to say, and like I just like the openness and honestness about it, and like it's not like we just like said our issues, we also said our solutions to it as well, or what personally want out of it as well. So
Sure.
I think it is just a good general situation, good conversation. Eventually, after like playing some games that I've been playing recently, like it even hits more at home of like, wow, like we don't get games like this anymore type of thing.
Sure.
in a different kind of way. But that I'm just rambling now. But
Yeah.
I thought it was a good conversation.
Yeah, I was just curious how you felt after the fact. Yeah, you go listen to that. I had one person tweet at me and say, I might not agree, but it's very cathartic to hear Alex fucking rants about these games. And I was like, you made it all worth it, person. I should find they tweeted at me. I should shout them out. But also, Jarrett wrote a thing about Mortal Shell, the latest Souls-like, quote unquote. I don't know, Tony Scott, if either of you guys have heard of it, but it's pretty cool. It's $30. It's got some interesting takes on that kind of combat that is actually really different and stuff that are cool. I have not played it yet, but Jarrett wrote a thing, and there's also on YouTube viewpoints of us sitting down and watching some video of that. So that's it. It's irrationalpassions.com. There's a bunch of stuff coming that we've been working on or have been looking to do. We have a control thing that we're looking at for the DLC. We have viewpoints where we sat down and looked at a game called Windbound, which is like this cool kind of mix between Breath of the Wild and Wind Waker on the indie side. If you've played Oceanhorn, it's kind of reminiscent of that. So yeah, check out allirrationalpassions.com, all the cool stuff. Let's talk about video games. Nabishin, you weren't here last week, which means it is time to talk about video games, my friend. What have you been playing? You got 2 weeks of stuff.
You would think that.
I know it doesn't always go that way.
None too crazy. I guess I could say what I've been streaming because that's the only place I've been playing like different stuff really.
Sure.
I decided one day I just was in a mood for rhythm games. That's kind of just to bring up my spirits a little bit, and amazingly it did. I played like a bunch of them, and I was just grooving and having fun. I played Buster Group 1 and 2, which are PlayStation 1 games where it's just like you're pretty much breakdancing to like the beat of the music and pressing button sequences before while staying in groove. It's really fun. I really love that game. Also played Ribbon Head and Fever. Played that on stream. Played all the way up to like Remix 5, I believe. Just loving that game again. Remembering why I loved it so much to begin with. I realized when I was playing that game in particular, it's like that's the only time I'm very talkative when I play video games is when I play rhythm games.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like it's really like hey, I'm really loving this, I'm really appreciating this, and then like the parts where I fuck up on is like, because it's always when I fuck up is like it's like usually near the beginning, and it's like if we start a rhythm game and like I miss it immediately, I just like pause it and just retry it right there. I was like, nope. You can't start it that way. You can't start with a mistake. You have to keep going.
Yeah.
And like if you decide like midway through if a mistake is okay, then that's fine. But like, no, you can't start that way. And like, and obviously when I'm concentrating, I'm not saying anything. But like, like when I'm done with it, I was like, yeah, that's really awesome. Like I love the flow of it. I love like this part. It's my favorite part of it. And it's like, I really hate this part. I don't really like this one. But like, compared to this one's better type of thing. I don't know. I enjoy doing that.
Yeah, you've also said that that's you kind of mentioned that's like the one that you actually like get super pissed at if you mess up a lot, right?
Rhythm Heaven, yes.
Maybe not Rhythm Heaven. Do you think that's rhythm games in general, or is that just Rhythm Heaven in general?
I'd probably do Rhythm Heaven in general.
Sure.
Mostly because that one's so simple. As far as like the button layouts and stuff like that, then that is like, because it's only 2 buttons you need to press really. That's like when my dumb fingers messes up on like on a normal rhythm game, it's like, oh yeah, that's understandable. I have dumb fingers, and like if I don't get it perfect all the way through, that's understandable. When it's like Rhythm Heaven though, that's like you're pressing one button more or less, or sometimes 2, but mostly just 1, and like it's just a matter of just getting your rhythm down. And it's like when I miss it, it's like
Oh, hold on, Namasha. Your mic's kind of freaking out for a second here. It's like you faded away and then you turned to static. Do you want to just check the cable or whatever?
This mixer thing. I probably should switch it out, but it's too late now.
Sorry, we got you back now. We can hear you again.
Okay.
Rhythm heaven. Something about losing the rhythm.
Like basically when I lose the rhythm, it's usually like because it's generally just a fatigue with it. Like like I could do it for like maybe like a minute and a half straight, but then it's like when it's longer than that, that's when like my mind starts to drift. That's why I kind of lose my rhythm a little bit. That's why I have to like kind of like stay extra focused, but saying extra focus makes me unfocused as far as certain things, as far as like remembering some certain stuff. So it's kind of like fighting games. It's like when you're like trying to do like a long combo, it's just like you have to remember every step of it every along the way, and then like
but also like the pace of each step, like how much gap you're supposed to leave between each move. Yeah, I totally get it.
Yeah, it's basically just the same thing as that. So
it's a cool way to look at it. I've never actually looked at it in that way, but that honestly makes me appreciate it a little bit more. Because for me, that makes me flash back to like the only game that I learned any fighting game combos in, which is the first Injustice. I remember like the slow process of mastering like the like 6 Batman combos that I learned, and just how much like much like music, like the space between the notes, you have to memorize just as much as the notes themselves. So yeah, I like that. I've never thought that before, that fighting games and rhythm games are kind of the same ilk, but that's very interesting.
It's like the same thing with like even character action games as well. Like I guess that's why I'm like I love the genre of all 3 of those things, because it's like that's just like I just generally vibe with in a good way, something to keep my mind active and like having to think a step ahead of time before doing something else. And even though it's like constant information being fed to me, it's like it's also like it's the funny thing about rhythm games is like there's so much concentration you have to put into it, but there's also like a numb mindlessness with it as well, because like once you get it, like you super get it, and it's like muscle memory almost to a certain extent. Or like what's going to happen, even though there's so much on the screen right now, like you just feel it. I'm pretty sure Tony could speak about this too, like with Osu or something like that. Like it's just like something that's you just generally feel, and like what's coming ahead, even though you don't actually know it or don't actually even see it, but you just feel it, and just like you just automatically just do it.
That sounds transcendent, and I've never experienced that in my life.
It's like I get with this, like there's when I played Persona 4 Dancing All Night, that's one of the games I streamed as well. Dancing All Night, and I played the Fog, which is one of my favorite songs for Persona 4. And like you do the dance with that character, and
redacted. Yeah, I gotcha.
And like, because like there's a certain feel when you deal with it. It feels transcendent. It feels so good, and I get so into it that I'm loving every second of it. And like and especially like when you're actually getting the shit instead of like messing up every 5 seconds, but like when you're in it and like you get it. And like you just feel it, and then it's like you're just in it for like that like a good like maybe like 20 seconds at like you feel like you're a god and you can't mess up, and it's great. And then like a whole bunch of shit's on the screen, like oh crap, then you have to like kind of concentrate again, and like try to like understand what you're seeing. And that's usually like when like the choir switches off or something like that, or another bridge to the song happens.
Yeah.
But yeah,
no, that's cool.
Rhythm games are cool.
Rhythm games are cool. I'm glad that was a good pick me up for you this week. I feel that of like I needed something to pick me up, and it's cool. So it was a Rhythm Heaven, Persona 4 Dancing All Night. Any other highlights?
Buster Groove 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Those 2 were special because like I haven't played them in years, like in a real way. I haven't played them in years. Like I've been constantly trying to emulate them or get a way of getting them to work. It's a very specific thing about like PlayStation 1 games, and like you're needing like the right driver to actually get it to work. So you can't just like play off anything. So like I can't just like put in like a PS3 unfortunately, and like play it because like hey, you need the disc, and like the disc is like super rare. It's like $200, something like that. And like even like if you like try to like do certain things to get it to work on that system, I think it's like slightly delayed. I can't quite remember if it's slightly delayed or not. It might be all right on a PlayStation 3. But like I said, it's very hard to get a disc of that at a decent price. I used to have it, but I don't have it anymore.
It's funny. Just like you, my older brother Brady was also into rhythm games. You guys were into a lot of the same things. He liked Rhythm Heaven Fever on Wii. He liked Bust a Groove a lot. Did you ever get into Dance Dance Revolution, like actual DDR?
No,
playing at home.
My friend Marcus was really into that.
That's the one that I got into.
Yeah, I know that's your jam, Scott. For Brady, it was like, he just played it at home. He didn't have a dance pad or anything. He just really liked it. Like he liked the hitting the inputs and doing the rhythm with perfect timing. So like when I would come in to see him like on the last 4 songs of DDR, which some of that shit is fucking wild.
I did all that with my feet.
Yeah, Scott did all this with his feet, and he's like got the 2, you use the face buttons and the D-pad at the same time and all that, like doing crazy shit. And like he was on extreme, whatever the highest difficulty is, and yeah. So
with your feet, you didn't have 4 directional buttons, you had 8.
Yeah,
and of course they were all for 4 inputs, but you used all of them.
Yep. So yeah, for me, like I at least got to see a good appreciation of that. I was curious if you'd ever gotten into those DDR games. That was what I saw probably the most of as a kid.
No, I was always around him, but like I never really actually. I don't think I've ever actually like even stepped on the dance pad myself. Funnily enough, this is just because I'm always playing with friends, and like usually when I'm around my friends, I don't like embarrassing myself in like in any way, shape, or form. So like. Usually like when we play like certain things and like I have like no clue about like what I'm doing, I just like I'm good type of thing.
I remember
like it was even like a new fighting game or something like that, like I'm generally interested in it, but like I don't want to show how much I suck at it, so I was like, no, I'm not good, I'll watch all guys play. So there was a lot of watching.
Sure
stuff like that.
I remember like my only maybe one of 2 exposures to Scott being like super into DDR was, I think it was like 6th grade. We were having like this like party at school or whatever, and somebody brought in like a PS2 and a Dance Dance Revolution dance pad, like one of the nice ones. I would just go over to where Scott was, and his feet were flying around the fucking board. It was good. That like, you want to talk about number 1 game that I wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole is probably Dance Dance Revolution. It's like a combination of all the things that frighten me, or that I've just absolutely zero interest for. What else have you been playing, Abishin?
I did buy Avengers, but I didn't get super far into it.
Sure, I played a lot of it.
Far. So. Yeah, and not super far. I mean, like I probably just got to being able to control someone other than Kamala. So I think I'm Bruce Banner right now. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's pretty much where I stopped at.
Cool. Thoughts?
It's fine so far.
Yeah,
it seems okay.
Yeah, it seems alright. That's fair. That is a fair assessment.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it'll, like story-wise, it seems like it'll be more interesting, despite like very obvious things that people obviously know, but like we just don't care about. And it's like, I like the whole Captain America thing is it's
so stupid, right?
It's like, it's such a thing where it's like.
Just like say, like say in the marketing, like you'll have to find out what happened to Cap and see if you can save him by the end of it. Like at least admit that, like obviously he will be fine.
or at least do a thing where it's like, I mean, it would be a good twist is like if like
Bucky showed up or something, right? Like
yeah, or Falcon, and it's like, hey, I'm the new Captain America, so this moveset that you learn at the beginning of the game and that you never used again is something important now. Type of thing.
Yeah. I'm like, honestly, half of what I'm playing that whole game for is just to see how they bring Cap back. Like and I told that we had our editorial meeting this week. I told that to them. They're like, just let me know when it happens. I think Mike's finished it. I don't know yet. So, but I'm curious to see like what the wraparound of it is, because it's one of those things where I saw it and I was like, this seems dumb. And I played it. I'm like, all right, this is all right with the whole intro and everything. but this Captain America business, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, it's very much like one of those things where it's just like, oh, this is my perspective game of this 3 months type of thing. Like, I need to understand what I feel about this as far as like how I can speak to what I think are good games and bad games type of thing. And I don't think this is a bad game, obviously, but like understanding what a 7 is and appreciating or not appreciating what the 7 does type of thing.
Yeah, and it's I know it sounds reductive from the outside in, but it's also like we'll talk about it when we get to what I've played of it. It's I'm happy with I think a lot of what they did with this game too. It's cool that they made like a different kind of fighting kit for each character. That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. It's like the most interesting about the game. I feel itself is just like how it's made, not necessarily the game itself. Like because like there's a lot in this game, and you could tell there's a lot of TLC of like what they wanted to do with this game as far as like the ambition for it. The ambition seems so high. That's what makes it interesting to me. Like everything doesn't work out the way I want to, and like their decisions of like what they're focusing on in the game doesn't seem like it really appeals to me in general. Because like it just seems like a AAA version of like what Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 is.
It's kind of what it is.
Yeah, like up and down, and like that seems like almost. It seems like it's almost like you put too much money to something. It's like giving The Last of Us budget to like a Dynasty Warriors type of game type of thing or something like that.
Yeah, okay. I'd be kind of curious to see what that game looks like though, and I would say the same thing about
Hyrule Warriors.
All right, but I'd say the same thing about this. I'm curious what Ultimate Alliance-esque game for what it's worth, what that looks like with that like TLC of a Destiny or Marvel Spider-Man with all the Easter eggs and hidden stuff in there.
Yeah, like I think the issue is for something like Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, it's like the roster is just too small for what it could be, and like because of like the games of service aspect to it, like there's not much choice, and like like not that I completely understand it because I haven't tried online obviously, but like and eventually it's the 6 month thing with games of service type of thing where it's like in 6 months it'll actually be the game that you actually want it to be type of thing.
Yeah.
So I don't want to talk about something that I haven't really fully experienced yet. So
sure.
So maybe I'll have thoughts later on if I continue to play it, but we'll see if we'll go back to that because I'm distracted by something else right now.
Sure. Yes, you are. What else you got?
As far as the Sonic game, like I started.
Oh yeah. Sorry, we had a week off from you, so I forgot about the Sonic Lore Tour. Where are we at?
Yeah, Sonic Colors. We're playing that.
Yay! I'm just curious to see if you like this game. That's all.
I mean, it's decent. It's good. It's interesting that like I feel.
It took them too long to make the decent one.
Yeah, I know.
It
took him too long to get here.
And then nobody believed them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
That's really true, honestly.
Because I ended up playing Sonic Colors like a while back. I'm not sure if I'm pretty sure
You probably talked about it on the show at some point, but that was like 6 years ago or something.
I was like, yeah, hold on a second. This was actually pretty good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I've been looking forward to
it's another one of those solid 7s, but you know what? It ain't
in a sea of like 5s in Sonic games, like a solid 7, dude, I'd take.
Yeah, because it's interesting. Like,
what's it about? Like I actually don't know what this game, like the thrust of it is.
It's very kiddie. It's like it's very like Saturday morning cartoon where it's just like, oh, Eggman saying that like he's not evil anymore, so he opened an amusement park, and like you could just go there. And so I was like, okay, let's crash the party type of thing just to see what's up, and like there's just these aliens around that like that Eggman's like kind of storing to like use power or whatever. That's how Sonic does his new super abilities and whatnot. That's basically there's nothing really like to take away home as far as
And
like
it's oh, he's trapping these aliens. Time to free them and crash the whole amusement park.
exactly.
Of course.
And then it ends by you crashing.
But like it's interesting. Like I honestly feel like and maybe because this is on the Wii, but like I don't know if that's an excuse or not. But like the best of Sonic Colors so far from what I've seen, like I did like maybe like 3 worlds so far. But the best of Sonic Colors doesn't seem like it matches to the extent of what the Sonic stages are on Sonic Unleashed. I feel those stages are like stellar. They're like super fun and like really really good. Little too trial and error but like I think they're like super fun. Like like as far as what you do and the visuals and stuff like that. Like I think it just like everything just pops in that game as far as like that half of the game that you play of Sonic Unleashed. And in this, it's like in Sonic Colors, it's like it's just literally just that stuff, and it's like it's cool and it's good as far as what that is, but like it's a little bland, honestly. Like sure, like the alien stuff like spices it up a little bit, and like and it works for that game as far as like these new abilities and like just going through stuff and like that's all super cool, but like like the bosses are pushovers, like literally pushovers, like you just do 2 hits or something like that. They're not really much effort, and it's and the levels are like this kind of bland as far as like the stuff that you're doing, like it's not as involved as like of what you do in like Sonic Unleashed, I feel. Sure. So like for
having also played both games, I know exactly what you're talking about, and having not completed Unleashed but completed Colors, it gets a little better, but I completely agree with the Unleashed's trial and error part, and I would say that this is the sacrifice in removing that, and that kind of never changes, but it does. The game will later force you to slow down and do more shit other than holding forward, because there's a good chunk of that in that game. The bosses are all pushovers.
Yeah, that sounds like that's where that was going to go. That's cool though. I'm curious to see how you feel by the end of it. Are you? So what was just before this? Was Unleashed just before this? I don't know if you'd played anything in the interim. I don't know if there was like a short one or was like Sonic 4 episode 1. Yeah, that might have been it.
Yes, that's what it was.
Where did that one end up?
I don't know. I'll have to look it up real fast.
As forgettable as the game itself.
Basically.
Yeah.
I think I put it below Sonic Heroes, honestly, just because of how forgettable it was.
Yeah. Was it another thing of like just coming back to it? It's like, yeah, wow, this didn't do anything for me.
It was more of like there's no personality to it.
Yeah.
Weirdly enough, even though like Sonic the Hedgehog 4, there's nothing that really says that it seems just like a fan made type of game or something like that.
Is it fair to say you've played 1, 2, and 3, and now playing 4 is kind of pointless?
It's more to say like you can see the arc of like how 1, 2, and 3 got like so grand and big and stuff like that, and like 4 trying to like brings it down to back to its roots or whatever. But it's like it's not even better than like the first game type of thing. It's like even below what Sonic 1 is.
Sure,
it feels like.
Yeah, I think if you and like I don't know, I don't know how you feel about New Super Mario Brothers, the original. I don't know if you've ever played that.
On the DS?
Yeah.
Oh, I like that game. I like the game a lot.
I like the game a lot too. Obviously, I don't think it's like because in a way it's
Mario Brothers 4.
Yeah, in a way it's kind of Mario 4. It's hard to say that is what that game is, but like as far as like, hey, we're gonna try and from the ground up make new levels like this in our more modern take on this character. Like I thought that felt like a good progression of concepts, and everything I've heard about Sonic 4 is like it just doesn't pick up anything from what was happening before.
It is. Would you call it? akin to the Super Luigi one.
Yeah. Like more like, all right, why would you do this?
Whereas if you didn't play a whole lot of Sonic games, like you skipped a few, Super Luigi is perfectly fine.
Super.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If you played Sonic 1 and went straight to 4, it's probably totally fine.
Right.
Yeah.
Having played a shit ton of Sonic games, it's a bit of a letdown.
Yeah. Totally.
Mm-hmm. Feel that. But yeah, like Sonic 4 is nothing to really even really talk about, honestly, because like you have your life system in the game, but like by the end of it, you're over 100 lives, so it's like it's no point towards it, and they just like drip feed that to you, and it's so pointless in a lot of points. And like you're sure to getting. Nah, I don't even want to talk about it.
It's fine. It's fine.
About.
Don't worry about it. You'll get through Sonic Colors. There's cool stuff. I'm curious now, like, because you're more than halfway through, right? Do you think of the Sonic Lore Tour?
Yeah.
Do you think is it just going to be like the number 2 spot? Because obviously nothing will beat Sonic and Knuckles, obviously. But do you think the number 2 spot is just going to end up being Sonic Mania, or do you think that there is anything else that is like actually come close and you're excited to find out?
I mean, like Sonic Mania is like either number 1 or number 2 from what I remember of it. So it's just a matter of like how I play. The other ones, like Sonic Generations, is like something I haven't really fully played or appreciated. From the little bit I have played of it. But like I said, I've always not been a fan of like the classic, the 3D, the 2.5D remake of the Sonic stuff. Like it's just fine. Like it's not really that great, and it was not that great in Forces. So like if you're asking me like if something's gonna even like surpass like Sonic 2 at this point, like maybe Sonic Generations, but like that's probably about it.
Okay, that's the one that could surprise you. I was just curious if there was anything on there. All right, that's a good Sonic Lore Tour update. Saving the best for last, I see though. I like how I set you up and you're like, yeah, whatever, it's fine.
I mean, I just played it today and a few hours ago.
I'm just excited.
It's just a matter of like, wow, because like it's funny because like
we're talking about Alan Wake for the kids at home.
Sure, let's get straight into that. It's definitely one of those situations like with when I went back to Portal 2, and like it's like, oh man, I forgot everything, and like
really
doing that with Alan Wake as well. I'm like, oh, I forgot everything about this game. I know Mr. Scratch, I know it's not a river, it's an ocean, or not a lake, it's an ocean thing, but like I don't remember anything. And like just going back to it,
it's awesome.
And going back to it, like it's I was so impressed and like because like I played it on my backwards compatible on Xbox One, and like when I started out, I played like 30 minutes of it. I'm like, is this on PC? And I just
it looks pretty good. Like the art style for that game and like the direction they took, I think still holds up in a really good way.
Oh yeah, it really does. But like I was like, is this on PC? Because like if I can see this even better, then like fuck dude. And then I saw it better and like fuck dude. So I bought that immediately.
Hell yeah.
It looks great. And even the like the way they tell that story, like I said, I forgot everything. Like I forgot about like you're finding notebook pages that like pretty much does a premonition of what's going to happen type of thing. Not like exactly, but like this could happen like even like chapters ahead type of thing. But like it's just like,
but also like what other characters are doing while the stuff that we're seeing is happening.
Yeah, you find a page and you find like about Rose, and like Rose is like kind of jealous of like me and my wife are so buddy like, oh man, I really want to be part of this type of thing. Like, oh, so that's what she was thinking when I left the diner type of thing.
Yeah.
And like I'm flabbergasted, honestly, how much I forgot how much I love this. Like I could like I'm it's like one of those things that you just forgot. It's a love that you forgot that you even knew that you had. Because it's like it's something that's like I appreciate it obviously, and like back in 2010 when it was like you and me and like mad scientist 18, I believe his name.
Yeah.
Was like was screaming on this on Twitter,
Yeah,
like
just
Alan Wake's
screaming,
amazing.
Like why?
And Travis Bond, don't forget Travis Bond.
Yeah,
like
Travis,
Alan Wake is Alan Wake's amazing, and like no one's talking about this type of thing. And it's like I forgot how much I literally adored this game.
Yeah.
It's like to my very it's speaking to my soul type of thing. I didn't realize this.
This makes
because
me
like
so happy.
now I feel ashamed type of thing. It's like why
As you
haven't I been
should.
saying
No,
this?
just kidding.
Why haven't I been saying this forever?
Yeah.
Like why did this like skip my mind? Because like it's something I appreciated, obviously. And it's like if you ask me what one of my favorite 360 games, like, oh yeah, Alan Wake is like my top 3 probably. Like I can't even like name another 2, but like Alan Wake is like up there for sure. I was like, fuck, man, I love this game. And it's like it's like, I just want to go off.
I love how like flabbergasted I've left you. No, I mean, well, for point of reference, like I texted you like a week ago saying like, hey, I think we should just talk about Alan Wake. Like if we do another like our next one-on-one thing, I have this idea of a thing I want to talk about with Alan Wake, and you're like, okay, I'd have to replay it because I haven't fucking touched it in forever.
Literally 10 years almost,
which is what prompted this, and that's so great because like I mean you haven't played any of the Control stuff DLC or anything that yet. Hey, did you finish that game?
I beat Control, yes. I platinum that game, but
right.
I haven't like done the any of the DLC yet.
So because like this, I feel like this excitement is just gonna get even doubled once you see like what they decided to do with that AWE expansion. Which I won't
even
spoil, but it's really good. For me, it was everything I could have ever wanted from when I heard it's going to be like an Alan Wake style expansion.
Because like even like vanilla Control, I didn't even see any of the Alan Wake stuff in there. Like I think I looked up it online after you mentioned it, and like you just said like 1 or 2 things, like oh, okay, that's cool type of thing. But like like it's so funny, Alex. Like it's so fucking funny because it's like I want to berate you, but like, oh, you owe me $25 because you didn't tell me about this, and then I need to give you back the $25 because like I love it so much, type of thing. Like,
but then you go listen to the last 3 episodes of this podcast, and you're like, oh, he's just been talking about this in the corner for like a month now. Like, yeah, it is because you can. There was like I think. 6 weeks ago was the episode after I had gone back and replayed Alan Wake, and I was going through Quantum Break again. Of like, wow, like one, this holds up way more than I thought it would. Like, like the way it feels, like it's simple. Like you might have not been on that episode, but I remember talking to Tony Scott about it, of just like the kind of simplicity of the controls and how games today have added like a lot of stuff that you kind of just get as the game goes on. And Alan Wake is like not at all like that. It is kind of this weird last bastion of this old philosophy of third-person action games, but in the idea of like a Max Payne or something, but it is somehow modern still and is in the kind of middle of that line. So there's no skill tree, there's no upgrades like a Last of Us, but the shooting and the weapon, there's some level of weapon variety in shooting is really good. So it somehow stands the test of time. Plus it's not too long, right? Like it's like 8 hours long, so it's not necessarily a thing where you're playing so much of it that it gets old by the end. And you talk about a game that's like a game where it's like you can clearly see like some of the misgivings, because I haven't gotten to it, but like I remember like, oh, this is supposed to be an open world game type of thing, and like, oh, these thermoses don't mean anything in this game type of thing, and it's just like all these collectibles in this game type of thing, and but it's like they still had this like singular focus as far as like the story and like as far as like telling that and the way they tell it. I just think it's like it's really some next level shit. And like obviously control like is like the magnum opus of like what Alan Wake like laid down. Yes.
And that's why I love that game so much. But there's something about going back to this and like seeing like and like it's nothing like I've ever played before. Even though I literally just played like something like Control and I played Quantum Break, but like there's something about Alan Wake in 2010 and playing something like that in 2020 It's like there's nothing like this, and like I just got finished playing Avengers, and like that's like as generic as you can get in a lot of ways, but like there's nothing like Alan Wake. Yeah. Alan Wake is so unique, and it's so crazy how and like I was like I'm guilty of this too. It was like you could say like, oh, this is one of those things where it's like, oh, it's a game that came out that year, and then we never talk about it again, and like unfortunately it got put into that, but like it shouldn't be. Like people need to talk about this game,
right?
Oh,
yes.
And
I feel so valid right now.
And it's so funny too, because like like after my time with Alan Wake and like I played other games, I guess like Mass Effect became a thing in my life, and I just haven't really thought about it like ever since. But like, like I never played American Nightmare. So like when that came out, I know it was always something. I'm going to buy this because I love that Alan Wake type of thing. I'm going to buy it. I never did, and like, I had that bought and ready to go. Like after I finished Alan Wake, I want to try that out. But
it's
like,
right. It's way more fun than I thought it would be.
Yeah, like I heard like it's not much of anything, but that's fine. I'm fine with that. Like
it's more. Dude, it is a little bit more Alan Wake, and you get like plenty of Mr. Scratch in that. So like, I think it's still fun. It's worth playing.
And that's the thing too. It's like I have to remember this Mr. Scratch stuff because like I'm trying to remember like where like how everything fits in again, and it's like, but like I don't want to look at a YouTube video. I want to like re-experience this myself and like try to remember like because like we were all on the same page when we beat that game in 2010 and like what it is and where it was probably going and like how a sequel would be type of thing, and like I had to like get myself back in that mindset because like I said, I literally forgot everything. Like the only thing I remember is like the stage with fireworks, and that's like the only thing I remember from Alan Wake. Sure. So like I just want to remember these story beats, see these characters. Weird thing to say, I'm sorry, but like I just wanted to put it out there. It's like I wonder if there's any people of color in this game. Like it probably isn't. It's just like it's just like how was this game in 2010 and how was it like I'm just loving it so much. I just can't talk highly enough about like how much I'm loving Alan Wake right now.
Yeah, it is like, and it's funny because there's a lot of film and books and movies that are similar to how Alan Wake approaches its story, and it is clearly like a thing of obviously the Stephen King vibe that they're going for, that they're trying to insert a lot of that like narrative storytelling that we see written in books into this game, and the just the cleverness of which they were able to do that, of like finding these pages and like that's where we get the secondary scenes with the secondary characters, and it like narratively like closes its own loop of like, oh, Alan would know this because he found a page that he wrote. Wait, like it just fucks with your brain in all the right ways. That is, yeah, it's incredible. And playing that DLC, which again I won't say anything now because I don't want to ruin anything for you, but like the first time you hear Wake's voice and you get that same vibe of the manuscript pages, it gave me chills. It was like this. I've needed this for 10 years, like this kind of storytelling. And finally, it's back, and the way they kind of set it up for where they're going is so exciting. So yeah, Alan Wake's about to be the coolest thing in 2020 for you. No,
hey, like the one last thing I want to talk about Alan Wake is like, and it's funny enough because I literally texted this to you as soon as like I got to like the diner and stuff like that, because I was wondering, I was like, oh, this is why I love Deadly Premonition. It's because of this game. It's like it's literally just Alan Wake. Just with a quirky Japanese filter, like yeah, and like but like it all stems from Alan Wake. Like it all is like Alan Wake was so new to me when that came out, and like I just adored it, man. Like it's so crazy to be like, oh man, I forgot how much I felt about this, how much I just absolutely adored it, and like how like I'm like and I feel like honestly bad at like it took me 10 years just to remember how much I really
hey man, you're on the right side of history now. That's what all that matters. Yeah. But yeah, even like I would say, because Alan Wake's so inspired by Twin Peaks and everything. I've watched Twin Peaks. I've not finished it. I've not watched the new season that they did, but I still think Alan Wake is a better, more interesting mystery than Twin Peaks, because I think it does a great job of answering just the right amount of questions. And it leaves you with a lot of mystery left at the end of that story. And a lot of like, how could this work? And a lot of different ways that you can kind of puzzle that out yourself. So, yeah, it's very good.
Also, I've forgotten how spooky the game is. So
yeah,
headphones, I'm like, fuck.
Like I think when you texted me, it's like, or maybe it was something you tweeted, but like, few games have this level of engrossing atmosphere. Like, I'm in it immediately. Just I don't even have to think about it. I put on the headphones and I'm like in Bright Falls. Like, that's how engrossed I feel like when you're going through those spooky woods at night. And yeah, Alan Wake is just, it's like Alan Wake and Bloodborne for me, honestly. Of like, I'm there. Oh my god, I feel it. I feel this presence, the dark presence, you know. I feel very good now. My heart feels like 3 times as big, in a good way. Cool. That's all you've been playing, I assume.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Tony, man, video games.
Hey. I've been golfing.
Yeah, dude. PGA touring it up.
Yeah.
That's
pretty much it?
Is that it?
Yeah.
Now, we talked a little bit because you were playing before the show. Is this your new meditation? Is this like your new, like, finally something to relieve all this stress in the back of my neck? Is it just chill out and play PGA Tour time?
It's kind of both. You can play like the non competitive version, and then it is that, and then there's also like the tour on super hard mode is like stressful.
Yeah.
Because it's a set of like 40 games that you have to do well in consecutively.
Mm-hmm.
So it's both. It's definitely both.
I'm sorry. I'm thinking about like I'm trying to think of the last time you brought in a game where I was like, I did not expect you to be obsessed with this. And I can't think of it. But then I remembered the thing Nabishin said to you that is like, how long do you think until you love it until you hate it? Of like how much more of this are you gonna play obsessively until you're like, I hate this game?
Yeah, I don't know, dude.
But no, like we've said before, Tony, you just love things so passionately until you can't anymore. It's admirable. Did you expect yourself to like love this as much as you do?
No.
Nice. That's always good. That's always a nice surprise. I don't know if you have any like meaningful emotions to spread about PGA Tour, but I'm happy that you're into it.
Nope. It's just some golf, bro.
Is this 2K20? Like this year's game?
2K21.
2K21. Cool. Man, it looks pretty, at least. I will say. It's a pretty game.
This is the first PGA Tour game in like a few years, right?
I have no idea.
It might have taken a year off. I don't know if like... I'm always confused when like those sports games that I assume all come out every year, but some of them don't, you know, like PGA. But I have no idea. I assume there was one in like 2019, it looks like, but maybe that was the most recent one before this. So.
That was probably EA's last one, I think, because like 2K hasn't been a thing for PGA.
Yeah, that's right.
So I think this is the first 2K version of PGA Tour. So
did they lose the license? Wow. Okay.
It used to be EA, because it used to be Tiger Woods, and then they transitioned to PGA when scandals for Tiger Woods came out.
Mm-hmm.
And that lasted for a few years, and that was at 2K now. So
yeah. So there was the golf club was their first 2K's first PGA game. Had a different name, which is interesting. I guess they probably got that. Maybe they got that PGA naming license a little bit later. So the Golf Club, Golf Club 2, Golf Club 2019 featuring PGA Tour, and then they took the actual year of 2019 off, I guess, and then 2K21 PGA Tour 2K21. That's cool. I'd forgotten that used to be EA. So it's weird to see that. They've just 2K is just now taking the whole name, you know, like it is just their very THQ Nordic style.
Yeah, as far as just the PGA stuff goes, the last 2K one, just as far as I guess this is EA's was 2015.
Yeah, so cool. I'm happy for you, Tony. I'm happy for your new love. Is this gonna ever make you go golfing in real life? Do you think?
No.
Okay, that was the only question.
What about putt-putt?
I mean, I've done that before.
Yeah, putt-putt's fun.
But,
We'll probably do it again.
Yeah, we should all go putt-putting sometime.
Probably not.
Not right now.
Nah, it's one of those things where like 15 years from now it'll be like, well, this is putt-putting time.
Yeah,
and then you're like, why? Okay.
We don't need a why. We just go. We're all 45-year-old men, but we're playing putt-putt today. Cool. If that's all you've been playing, Scotty.
I view it like going out to get ice cream.
Yeah, it's
like I'm not gonna say tomorrow. Like last time, this is the last time I'm ever going out to get ice cream. It's like I know, even if I don't like it.
Fair. Scott, man, what have you been playing?
Nothing new. Some more League.
Cool. I was gonna say any new developments in League of Legends, but I know there's probably not any.
Not really.
Yeah.
Not really.
We talked about it a lot last week.
I played a little more Crystal Chronicles
Mm-hmm.
just to take a look at how some of that stuff worked.
Yeah.
I missed that last week. How was it for you?
We talked.
It is. We talked about it, but it's the best way to put it is that the multiplayer makes the most sense for a new player coming in.
Yeah.
Mm.
For somebody who wanted the strict old experience, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But Scott and I are going to try and make it work. We're going to basically play just the two
the best way to put it is if you wanted the strict old experience, you would have to do what you would have to do if it were the old thing, which is you got to wait absolutely for everybody to be on.
Yeah.
Well, it's just like it, and then you have to go through one person's world, and then if anybody else needed to try and play catch up, because thinking about it, if we only care about the one world, you probably don't need to.
Yeah.
You do a couple of stages twice.
Yeah.
And then you can kind of just keep moving on.
Yeah.
But moving forward in one person's game as a story, it doesn't work, but you still get money, items, and artifacts.
Yeah, artifacts are like the big things.
So your character progression will move forward with their story.
Yeah.
So I can essentially play the game on my own on one character, and then start another character and just play with Alex on that character.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
You just have to essentially move the years forward.
In order for that to like kind of be that whole experience, though, and to be there for the whole thing with that other person, you either have to be in the same room, so that like one person will be playing on the big screen and the other person will just be sitting on the couch with their Switch or whatever, and that so you could see all the memory stuff that the other person's go through, or they would have to stream it.
Yeah.
But you're going through a few hoops to make it the old system, but if you think about it, if you want, the only other way to do it is if multiplayer would take the full control of somebody else's world. So you'd hook up to multiplayer and you would have to play one of their characters.
Yeah, like somebody has a character in your game that they play with you. And
at that point, for like a pick up and play multiplayer, it's like nobody except for pretty much nobody would use it except for people like Alex and I.
Yeah,
it would be an extremely small fraction, and then the people who just didn't have any friends who wanted to pick up and try the game, they would have effectively no solution for multiplayer.
Yeah. What I didn't realize, which makes more sense when we talked about it again this last week, but there's matchmaking with the multiplayer, which I think that's what kind of levels out a lot of we're just going to play randos and everything. Like that's a big part of it. You can just join in with random people over and over and over again. So
yep.
I think that was the structure they went with multiplayer, so people would actually use it versus the kind of older way. It's a bummer because it was cool to share a story with someone. It's very kind of like almost Dungeons and Dragons-esque of like go on a caravan. This is your group. Here are the possible 8 people that you have, but. We're gonna try and make it work. We'll just play through levels twice if we have to. It's not a huge deal with just 2 of us.
All right. Like worst case scenario, I have to progress on my own town alone.
Yeah, or mine. Yeah, so it's not a huge deal. But
Both Switch.
I got it on PS4. It's crossplay.
Switch.
So
no.
and he's on Switch.
Yep, it's crossplay.
Which is cool, and there's like a mobile version too that's free.
So yeah, if you wanted to hop in for a couple levels, you could do that with the. I think it's tough for consoles too.
It might be, yeah, the light version.
I think I guess there's a light version where you could just say, hey, you can play up to like 13 dungeons with us to try it out.
Yeah,
and you could just play with us for 13 dungeons or so.
Yeah, which is cool. But yeah, I only just like made my character in that, so I haven't really done anything with that yet. But we'll maybe we can play Monday, tomorrow night. Let me know.
Sure. You wanted to make it. Yeah, would just Monday nights, week after week work?
Monday nights, week after week might work. I'll have to double check my work schedule. But we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty much always available after 5:30.
Cool. That helps.
So it's if you're just like, hey, it's Crystal Chronicles time. You could just say, hey, today.
I should always be available after 8, depending, but that might change soon. So we'll see.
I mean, like 8 o'clock is one of those things where it's like, I gotta take care of my cat. I feel dirty. I need to take a shower.
Yeah,
now it's bedtime.
Yeah. That is exactly so those days where I get off at 6, we can probably swing it. Anything else, Scotty? New games or anything?
Nothing to note. You got any more recommendations? I completely forgot those tactics recommendations that we got.
Oh yeah, I can look up that tweet. I will say I want to put, and it's one of the games that I've talked about it a couple times over the last few weeks, but I want to put Undermine at least on your radar if you're looking for a roguelike. I don't know if that's what you're craving.
I'm not opposed.
It's I know it's on Xbox Game Pass, which means it might be on PC Game Pass, and I know you might have grabbed that for Flight Simulator, so you can at least take a look. But yeah, I mentioned it before. It is a roguelike. It is a very much like Spelunky, Rogue Legacy, and Binding of Isaac. Like it is those 3 games in a really good way that combines all the aspects of those to what you would want, I would say.
Real quick, did none of us get Rogue Legacy 2?
I watched a little bit of it, but it's also only in early access right now. Mike Burgess.
Oh yeah, for that game, I'm just gonna wait till it's out. Okay. It might be a few years.
I want to know if we're all on the same page because I know we all like that game. So.
Yeah, for sure. Mike Burgess has it. We did a viewpoints on it on YouTube. That I think it looks great. The art style is incredible. Basically, like the second area isn't in the game yet, so it's the first area, and then you can go to the third area. The new classes are cool. The skill tree is not finished yet either, so yeah, it might just be best to wait. But everything that is in that game so far is phenomenal. Everything I've seen of it looks great. But yeah, Undermine is one that's not like a deep recommendation, I would say, but. Put it on your radar. It's good. I've never been asked. I felt so honored in that moment. Cool. Anything else, Scott?
No.
I'll look into that Crystal Chronicle or the tactics recommendation, and I'll get back to you on that one. I played some video games. I played Spelunky. We played that on Sunday as a group, which is super fun. I loved playing that with you guys. I was worried that would maybe turn out to be miserable, and it ended up being very fun. Not because of you guys, but because Spelunky multiplayer is hit or miss in my experience. But we had like a good squad thing going for a while. We got to the jungle a lot, so I feel really good about how we did.
Sacrificial altar?
Yeah, just everyone like goes in like little murder squads. It's very good. So that was fun. Undermine, I don't think I had done it last week, but the reason I brought it up again this week, I quote unquote finished it for the first time. It's cool how that game loops itself. There's like so much going on toward the end of that game. It is like more a end game focused like roguelike that I've not played, right? There's essentially, you're going through the mine, which are, 1-1, 1-2, up through 1-4, and then 2-1, 2-2, up through 5-4, right? So there's 5 worlds, 4 levels each world, and at the end of each world is a boss, and it's kind of like it's always the same boss, right? There's clever ways to skip the bosses if you want to start going to the other worlds before you finish the boss, but you have to finish all the bosses to beat the game, essentially. And then by beating all the bosses, you unlock an additional like final boss that is cool. And I'm not going to spoil it, but it's very it's a very unsurprising twist. But that's cool, and I like that boss because essentially you have to choose to go either in the mine or fight the boss, right? It's one of those things where the whole game is about going through the mine over and over again and getting these kind of permanent upgrades between runs that either extends the pool of items that you have access to in the mine, or at least better prepares you for going for that run, and then you progress. And with this boss, you have to do it with just what you can get from the top level before you go in. So it's kind of like you're foregoing all of the possible upgrades that you could have. And you have to play it really strategically because of that. So it's cool. And then there's this whole other thing. It's called the other mine, literally. And that is like, okay, well, if you want to play this like super like actual roguelike, we're going to take away all your perma upgrades. And then you get thrown into a room where you get like a random generated set of those perma upgrades, items, curses, and blessings. Which curses hurt you'll do bad stuff when random stuff happens, or blessings are the opposite. And then the other mine is just like essentially like super hard mode. I don't know what you get from doing that. I think maybe that's just like the leaderboards, and that's like the only thing that gets posted online, but I have no idea. But it's fine. That I've zero interest in the other mine. I liked the kind of main campaign of Undermine, and it's really fun. What's cool is they took just the right amount from Binding of Isaac, which is a game I really like, but I'm not as in love with as like Scott or a lot of the people that got way deep into that game. And they take just the right amount from Rogue Legacy to give you a level of permanence between runs that you get progressively better and stronger throughout that game. That has a good progression feel. So. It's a really cool game. It's been on my radar for a while, and I was excited that it was on Game Pass when it came out. So I wanted to give it the proper shout out that it deserved, because I've only kind of mentioned it on the show. But it's great, and it's worth your time, and it's free on Xbox Game Pass if you have that, or it's included, I should say. It's not free. Control AWE, we talked about that already. Recorded a video that is going to be up tomorrow, Monday. Apologies for the delay. I've been all over the place with editing because I had to go back to work this week. But that is great. Say no more. And I've been replaying through the Ratchet & Clank games. I don't know how much of this you've heard about in Option, because I think this was mostly last week. But I replayed Tools of Destruction, Quest for Booty. Man, Quest for Booty, way lamer than I remember it, which is a bummer. It's cool though, because 2009, it is like very clearly, this is like the first of this ever.
100%.
And it's like, okay, it is lame because you kind of just do the same thing in 3 different areas, but it is cool that how they went about it, how they made a smaller version of this game. It's really well written too. Like, that game's really funny. So I say lame. It's like a 7. It's inoffensively bad, or inoffensively uninteresting. Crack in Time though. So this is the first time I've replayed Crack in Time, and I finished it last night. It's the first time I've replayed it since it came out. So, which was 2009 as well, right? I think.
Don't get that platinum this time.
I might. That was one of the ones that I had everything I needed, and then my PlayStation yellow lighted, and I lost my save file. So this is one of the one that and Final Fantasy 13 and Little Big Planet 1, the 3 platinums that were robbed from me. But also again, the most, I'll never get the Final Fantasy 13 platinum, because that is like, I played 80 hours of that game, and I got so close, and I'll never put myself through that again, you know. Same with Little Big Planet, but this one I might, you know. I don't think I've ever played it on hard mode or whatever. I think that's maybe the only thing I have left to do.
Not Little Big Planet.
No, on Kraken Time. Little Big Planet 1 has a very difficult platinum trophy that I think is impossible to get now, because you have to get like 50 likes on your levels or something.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, that makes sense. I mean, hey, we made a pretty good level.
I feel good about our shenanigans that we got into.
I think at the end of the day, it received like 35 likes.
Yeah, 35 likes, which I'm happy with.
Probably
again,
fire it up. It might just pop up. Honestly,
yeah,
it's been that long.
It's true, but then I had like the beat every level without taking a hit. I had one level left on that, and I would have to do them all over again.
That's so funny too, because that's I think my PlayStation Yellow light when I did that too. But luckily I did that because I have the platinum for Little Big Planet 1.
Yes, I remember.
And I think the only thing I didn't have was like the creation stuff. So like when my PlayStation Yellow lighted and I lost my save, like I pretty much just had to like reload the online, and then I got
and it
my
just popped.
eventually.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, Ratchet and Clank, Kraken Time. So going back to it, and there are little problems I have with it, you know, that I was looking, you know, I was, because you would talk to me of like, this is the best one, and playing it, I was like, yeah, wow. Like it is beyond, it is such a jump from Tools of Destruction too, which is incredible. Like it is clear they had this idea was way bigger than Tools of Destruction, right? Like I think when they were making that game and they were thinking of what Kraken Time would be, because it came out 2 years later, I think they really were already working really hard to make that something really special. And you know, like there's stuff like only 3 of the guns are moddable, which is weird, but like also there's 21 mods kind of spaced throughout for those different weapons that can change them in pretty incredible ways. So it also feels like one of those things of like, maybe this is just the right amount of this, and there's not too many guns. There's 21, I think. And it's like, okay, this isn't too many. This is maybe just the right amount. There's a lot of restraint in this game, in from the level design to the weapons to the story even, and that is such a thing, especially in that era. I feel like those middle of the road PlayStation 360 generation eras is like everyone was going so over the top, and Ratchet and Clank falls into this like really heartfelt, restrained, controlled territory that is like, you could see like it's masterfully well made, and it's cool to appreciate it for that all these years later. There's stuff like when you're doing those platforming challenge worlds where it's like the camera doesn't ever let you look down. It's like, I don't know where I'm going to land, and this is terrible, and that happens a lot, and that's frustrating. But that's like really the only thing, honest to God, that I could think of like a real nitpick of a thing I wish they had done differently. But yeah.
Are you talking about those Super Mario Galaxy levels? Or
yeah, like the little moons that you go on.
Right.
There's a lot of time where you have to like kind of go over these big distances, and it forces the camera up, and you can't see where you're looking. And like I fucked up so many jumps because of that. And it doesn't let you angle the camera down on the levels and the worlds and stuff. It does fine, but on those moons, because of how they're shaped, it doesn't let you. It's weird. But like also, because I've played all the Ratchet and Clank games. I don't know if you've played some of the original trilogy, right, Nabashin?
I only played the original, actually. I never played Going Commando or Up Your Arsenal, even though like I bought that HD collection, but like I couldn't get through Ratchet and Clank, so I never got to like the Go Commando and Up Your Arsenal because I wanted to do them in order type of thing.
Yeah, I get you. I feel like to most people I would say just keep Going Commando, but I know that's tough for you as well. So, but yeah, it's one of those things where those games have never, I don't think, at least up until this, committed to that almost like Sly Cooper, Jack and Daxter-esque, like this is also a collectible-esque game. They've had them, but they didn't like commit to it in a way that makes it feel like the player is supposed to get everything or should want to get everything. They felt like secrets that, like, oh, if you found it, cool. Whereas in this, like, they give you the checkboxes, they let you know where things are at, in a friendly way that doesn't feel forceful. They make exploring feel fun. They have just the right amount of, like, platforming and action. I think, like, the Tools for Destruction especially was, like, missing so much platforming. It was, like, just breakneck, kill that whole game. And then Quest for Booty is, like, all platforming, and it's great, and it's like, okay, this really feels like a back to its roots type deal. And then somehow Crack in Time really threaded both of those into a perfect label. And then the other thing is, like, this really feels like a Ratchet and Clank game. I know that seems weird, but, like, it like, Clank has such a presence in that story, and all his puzzles are absurd and crazy, but also really, really fun and really satisfying. And then Ratchet has, like, this, they both are going through, like, this you know, oh, we've found like, just, like, the writing is super simple, but, like, a Disney Channel original movie type simple, but, like, it's so effective of, like, oh, you know, like, I found this person who's, like, my uncle, you know, he's the best friends of my father, and you know, he wants to bring my people back. Oh, I found this person who designed me, who created me for a purpose, a greater purpose, who is my father. And then it's like, here are our natural born families, but then they come back together for their found family, which, you know, found families always, and those found family stories are always, like, that's going to be the people that you are the tightest with, no matter what, through thick and thin. And like, those themes of family are handled, like, genuinely very well. And I was, like, very emotional at the end of it, of, like, wow, like, this, as, like, if this were the last Ratchet and Clank game, this, and I remember thinking at the time, like, it feels like these characters have come so far.
It 100% felt like that was the and it's like they were just going to move on, and that would be the point. So, and
I'm almost happy that they didn't, because I think, I don't know, I started playing a little into the Nexus, and I like what they're doing there.
Into Nexus, good.
Yeah, I know, and it's one of those things where I've put off playing it for a very long time. I'm excited, and you know, it getting name dropped in that Ratchet and Clank presentation of, like, okay, yeah, maybe I should really play this. And knowing, like, watching that new Ratchet and Clank demo, I was like, oh, that's the Dimensionator. Like, okay, like, I understand where this story is going in a way I didn't before, because I played through Tools of Destruction. It's like, we've got to find the Dimensionator and this and that and everything about that. So,
Into the Nexus taught me what aliasing is.
Yeah, that game is rough, man.
Yeah.
That's what I'll say. Like, that, it is very depressingly framey just across that whole experience, and it's a bummer. Especially when you think that Ratchet and Clank games used to run at 60, like, first, always. It's like a huge priority for them. And then Avengers, which, you know, we've been going for a while, so I don't want to spend terribly too long about it, but here's my take on Avengers. Because I got the early access thing, because I was like, all right, I got an extra $10. It's fine. I'll start playing this. Kamala Khan, obviously great. How that game is marketed, whatever. You could find someone who is way better and way more educated on that stuff as to how much they royally fucked this game with how poorly they marketed it. There's a lot of great articles I've read about it all week. Klepic's got a good article. It's a great interview on the LA Times with the woman who plays Kamala.
I'm gonna stop you right here now. Is it that the marketing completely misses the point of the game?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, good. I got it on the first guess.
Yeah. Cool. It was more of like, you know, the marketing is like, oh, look at these weird knockoff Avengers, and it's like, that's not even how the game starts. It's not the vibe throughout most of the game. It's
not exact. Would it be better to say that it's not exactly an Avengers game, but it's like Kamala's?
It's like a Miss Marvel game. Like, honestly.
Okay.
And
then all the Avengers are just playable.
Yeah, and it's like, she is kind of the reason that they're all coming back together, and it's from her perspective. We start as her, we play through the intro as her. You know, like, all that stuff was not even shown before this game came out.
Yeah, I would say that it's. Yeah, I would say that it's not just the marketing that's the issue; it's the name of the game.
Yeah, it's there's a lot of stuff like that in this game where it's like, man, I feel like somebody had a really good idea here, but maybe they just didn't know how to make it into a thing. But what I will say, what works, like once the story starts taking off and going places, you start meeting more of the characters. I like what what they do with it. It's a little benign, like it's a little like I've kind of seen this before, but they have fun with it in places that I think help lift up everything else, and a lot of that is Kamala Khan and Miss Marvel and how great she is. I like how all the characters play. Like I was really surprised, and I've come around. I remember when I played the beta, I did not like how Kamala played, and it was frustrating, like the kind of many sections that they put you into with her. But as you level her up and as she unlocks new combos and stuff, a lot of what she can do makes more sense, and there's a lot more variability that you can do between going to the air, staying on the ground, launching enemies. Like a lot of those things you just don't have access to for any character at the beginning, and as soon as you get kind of like the launchers and stuff, it gets a little bit of that Spider-Man PS4 combat, which I do really like. Of like it's very aerial and there's a lot of cool juggling stuff that you can do with characters. But yeah, it's it's one of those. It reminds me a lot of Destiny 1 for better and for worse, and I think I might have told you that, Nabshin, of like there's just a lot of menus and a lot of like, here's this faction leader, here's this faction gear vendor, and here's this cosmetic gear vendor, and here's this vendor, and then this vendor, and this other faction leader, and then this other menu. And it's like, all right, whew, I got a lot going on in this helicarrier all of a sudden. And they do a decent enough job, I think, of like slowly rolling that stuff out, so it makes sense what you're supposed to do. And I understand there are a lot of games where it's like you just drop into it and like there's 28,000 vendors everywhere and you just got to figure it out and fend for yourself. I'm never a fan of those types of things, so it's a little bit of an adjustment for me. But it's a problem, I think, with Destiny. I think it could be a problem for this game, depending on what it looks like by the end of it. But yeah, I don't know. It's cool. It is more interesting than I thought it would be, but it's also, I see a lot of people saying like, oh, I guess we were wrong about Avengers this whole time. It's like, I don't know if we were wrong. I think like the story is more interesting and the characters play a lot better than we knew, because they didn't show any of that when they showed the game beforehand, which is fair. But I think also anything that isn't a main story mission in this game is like not very good. And there's a lot of that, and there's a lot of like, I guess you should probably run around with this character for a little while in these bullshit side missions, because you need better gear for them to play the main story missions. And it's always very good about telling you how underleveled you are, but it doesn't give a lot of great options as for like, all right, here's a good way to get all your
here's how you fix it.
Yeah, here's how you fix it. Here's a good way to get everybody kitted out. It's just they communicate all the wrong things in all the right ways. But all these problems very much remind me of like an early games as a service game that like once they understand the framework of what the players need to know, what they need to do, I think everything will kind of smooth out with time, and over time it'll get better. I will say that this, yeah, I know, and that's fair. That's completely fair. And this game isn't going to be for everybody. I can already tell. But I will say this is launching in a better state than I thought it would, and in a better state than like the Division 1, the Division 2, or Destiny 1, in my opinion. But I'm just worried about once I finish it, what am I going to be doing in this game?
What's the poster child for, I guess, a good launch for a games of service game? Would it be Destiny 2? Or maybe in like Apex Legends in a certain type of way?
Apex Legends, I feel like Apex Legends might actually be it now. But like, I liked how Destiny 2 launched. I know a lot of people had a lot of frustrations with like the end game of that. And the trouble is like they didn't really fix that for over a year. And then I would say that the campaign of Forsaken was less interesting, but the end game of the Dreaming City in Forsaken was way better, right? So it's always a give and take. People stand by and swear by the Division 2, but I thought that was like not good. Personally, I thought it was really uninteresting. But yeah, I guess Apex Legends, being the kind of game that it is, even that didn't launch with its battle pass. That came out like a month after the fact, and people were really pissed about that. But once that was there, it wasn't that long. I haven't heard as much complaining about that since, outside of the normal battle royale shit of like, I hate this seasonal changes, I'm waiting for next season, or et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, I guess like Call of Duty Warzone had a very good successful launch as well. True. So, but also they launched Blackout, and that was weird and messy, and then got better. So they also had like a learning experience, a kind of preliminary learning. So I would say probably it'll be Apex Legends, considering that that's like the only new IP of adapting to a games as service model, and like so far being like the only one that's like seemed to like nail what it was trying to go for. Yeah,
for the most part.
And it's hard to compare them because this is on the RPG spectrum and that's on the battle royale spectrum, right? So the menus and the things that I have issue with, I feel like, are all much simpler in those kinds of games versus one where you have to equip a bunch of different pieces of loot. But I don't know. I like a lot of what this game, like I like the skill trees. I like the one button that you have to hit to auto equip all your best loot. It's just stuff like you boost the power of your gear to make it better. And you do that by just consuming consumables, and that's they're either used to craft new gear or boost your current gear. I don't really know if I'm going to be hating myself for boosting all my gear later, but it seems weird that boosting the gear seems like more shit that probably could have just not been in the game at all. It's like, I have to get all these little resources to boost my gear for
But Alex, how are they supposed to make money?
I mean, it's fair. You buy drop boxes of resources or something. I don't know. Maybe that's a thing. But yeah.
I guess at the end of the day, I just don't get it in a way. And maybe just because I'm just not in this type of player or in that ecosystem. But like I see the appeal as far as the campaign, but like I don't get what would make you keep playing this game continuously afterwards. I guess after the campaign is over.
Yeah, I don't know how the end game is structured at all. The quote unquote Avengers Initiative, and narratively if they even do anything after that point. But there's definitely like, because I am invested enough in these characters, right? If there was a promise of a new story mission weekly, which isn't going to happen, obviously. Destiny doesn't even do that, and they've been at this for a while. And they do stuff like that, but it's not that. Then yeah, I would be interested. But and like my feeling, outside in, like person watching capitalism happen, I'm like, Marvel's Avengers should be able to do that. They should be able to afford that, or if like a little pack of maybe like a 5-week story that they're gonna do or something. But like, that's probably not happening. So I think that is something that they could do that could work, to at least play that game once every week for a set amount of time, because it could be like a comic book, and the story kind of unfolds as you go. But they're not going to do that, so you're right. I don't know. There's a roundabout way to say, I mean, yes, but here's an idea. So I don't know.
I mean, like at the end of the day, though, I do see this game being highly successful when it comes out.
I thought this game was going to do super well, and I still do. So
yeah, 100%. Like it very much feels like one of those hymns and haw things about like being a game enthusiast and like actually someone who just plays video games. Whereas like, what more do you need type of thing, or like that's enough for you type of thing.
Yeah,
it's like it doesn't have to be The Last of Us Part 2 to like get your $60. It could just be something like Avengers, and that'd be good enough for you.
Yeah, and I think at the very least, like this game doesn't have the problem that I think Destiny 1 did. Like I think there's a good campaign here. I think there's enough to do to get a game's worth. It is the service afterwards that I'm more skeptical of, but we'll see about that. That's a thing that, especially in times like this, I'm sure they had a whole plan that is just not going to be what they're going to be able to do. And I'm excited for them to roll out, the Hawkeye. I forget what his daughter's name is for some reason. But the daughter Hawkeye. Those are the first two characters, I believe. So I'm excited to see Kate Bishop. There we go. To see how they introduce them, how they incorporate them, and I'm excited to see where they go from here. At the very least. So, that's it. That's video games, I think. Now, I didn't pull any news, but there were new video cards announced this week. And I just de facto turned to Scott and Tony for that kind of stuff. I don't know if it was it anything important, significant, worth talking about?
Kind of, yes. As far as in our realm, what this effectively does is, I talked a while back when people were saying, "Oh, the 8K claims for those guys are complete bullshit."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Well, no, hold on a second. What they're talking about solves the whole problem that they're having with upping all the res on 4K. So that there might be some validity to that." Yeah. The whole conference of the 300 series 100% confirms what I said back then.
Sure.
Now, looking back at it, do I think that those consoles were going to meet 8K 60 FPS? No. Will they be able to do 8K? And that's going to be highly dependent on the game. But I think that given the right game, it's going to be able to handle it.
Yeah, and they had a few different things they announced. I know there's like a $500 one. There's like a $1,300 one.
Yeah, and the big thing to take away from here is that the $500 mark is better than the 2080 Ti.
Yeah, which has been like the standard for a while, right? Or it's just been a high end?
Well, it's not that the 1080 Ti is, or 2080 Ti is the standard. It is that the 2080 is the $1,000 card.
Yes.
The $1,200 card. And now you're bringing in a price option that is $500. That blows it out of the water.
Yes. And
so, that wasn't the case for the 1080 Ti to the others, to the 20 series. It just wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
It would only the other series would only perform slightly better when you turned RTX on.
And the big honky chunky boy in this one was like the 3080, is that right?
3090.
3090.
Which is the $5,000 or the $1,500 card. Which again, it is the super enthusiast card.
Yeah.
It's effectively a Ti.
Yeah. It's the I'm gonna buy 12 of these for my server farm card because I gotta get that Bitcoin. Do you think these things will just be completely unavailable because of the whole graphics card shortage, or is that not a thing anymore?
So it's still a thing, but I think that these price points will end up fixing the other price points regardless of the shortage.
Okay, that's good.
Because at this point in time, when I was taking a look at some new 1080 just to see what mine was worth, I was finding them for somewhere between $800 and $1,000.
Yeah.
That's not the Ti version. That is the regular version. That is the Founders Edition, the one that I have.
Yeah.
So I was like, that's not right. And that's just due to the shortage right now.
Yeah. Are any of the three of you looking to get any of these? I don't know. I don't know if this is anything you'd considered at all.
I mean, if you end up buying my system,
yeah, we talked about this last week. I didn't know if you were serious.
If that's actually in the cards, then yeah.
Okay.
I'll just, because it's my system's along the lines where it's an odd sell to you because it's not exactly what you would be looking for. I don't think.
Sure. Because
if you pick up any next gen console, it will play the games better than this thing can at this point.
But it's an investment. I would look at this as like, I have zero framework. This is a framework to which I can build on going forward.
Yeah. And what I would do is, because you're buying the whole thing, I'm probably just going to drop a 30% discount on the whole thing on that used market. So you'll be getting it for, a
decent price.
It's going to be it'll be a good price, even if it's not a steal for everything.
Sure.
At least one of your toes.
Yeah, only one though. One of the little ones. Was this a thing that you were looking at all, Nabishin? I don't know what graphics card you have right now, so.
I can tell you in a minute, but like no, not right now. I'm good for where I am right now. Like, I'm basically just using my PC to like stream and just play old shit. So, not that I'm not interested in playing like the newer shit. Because like obviously I'm planning to get Cyberpunk on PC when that comes out. Just to have the current best experience for that. For right now. But I don't know. Maybe like down the line, but like. I'm not too much. My setup is not even that intense right now to be like needing something that high quality. Like I have like a 1440p monitor, but like it's not 4K.
Sure.
It would be one of those things where if you got one of these graphics cards, you'd be able to cast your games over to your TV, and then you'd be able to play most of your PC games that support 4K in 4K at high frames.
That's cool. Right. Yeah, I was just curious, and this was like a big thing. A guy pulled a graphics card out of his oven. It was a cool deal. It was a fun video. I thought they had a good time with it. So, thank you for the succinct sum up, Scott.
Yeah, I'm guessing, Tony, you didn't look at these yet?
Nope. I've had a pretty busy week, to be honest.
Sure. Yeah, you were moving, so yeah, there was there was a guy in a kitchen. He pulled graphics card out of an oven. It's fine. One was in a toaster, I think. It wasn't. That's it then. That's the show.
It was behind spatulas.
Oh, it was behind the spatulas, obviously. He had like 1,000 spatulas. That's the show. Thanks to anybody for hanging out, for watching along live, for listening after the fact. We love you very much, regardless of whichever. If you'd like to be a part of the show, you can tweet your questions at IrrationalPod with the hashtag IPQ, or tweet your Final Fantasy Tactics like recommendations, so we can relay them to Scott. You can leave us a voicemail at 404-590-1337. Standard long distance fees do apply. We're not interested in buying your house. Please stop calling. And mailsack at irrationalpatch.com is the email address if you'd like to send us an email. I'm working on some ideas, maybe some giveaways, and then maybe we can get some submitted questions or topics to talk about. That could be fun. Just keep an eye on the Twitter at irrationalpod. Everything else, the other outro stuff. Follow the show and the site on Twitter at IrrationalPod. Nabish and I are on Twitter. I'm AlFighter27. He is NABESHIN186. Check out our video stuff over on Irrational Passions, either YouTube, Twitch. Search for Irrational Passions on either place. You'll find it there. Rate and review us wherever you listen, whether it's Apple Podcasts or Spotify or Google Play, whatever you prefer. And for everything else, Irrational Passions, irrationalpassions.com. That's where the place to be is. We've reached the end of the show, which means it's time for bets. Gosh, this week's bet. I don't know if you're ready for this. You're probably fine. It'll be fine. How long will the credits for Tell Me Why episode 3 be? I'd been thinking about a credits one for a while. I thought about doing Re-Reckoning because I figured the Tell Me Why credits were going to be the same across all 3 episodes, but they might not be because there's different voice actors in different episodes. But I felt a nice simple credits time period is what I'm looking for. How long will the credits be? I'm going to start us off. I'm going to say,
what is this?
Tell Me Why. It's an adventure game on Xbox Game Pass, exclusive to Game Pass. It's Don't Nod, same guys who made Life is Strange. So.
Oh, okay, 30 minutes.
30. I like that. I'm going to say 2 minutes.
That was a joke.
No. Do you want to stick with 30 minutes?
I'm going to go with 10.
10 minutes, okay. Nabishin?
4:33.
4 minutes, 33 seconds. Tony?
1 minute.
Oof. I like it. Now, Nabishin, we didn't get you for last week's bet. So if you want to...
real quick.
Yeah?
Specification. Like, are we talking about, like, black screen scrolling up or, like, like
hit the credits button on the menu and it plays. I'm talking about an episode, black screen, scrolling up. Like, so once I see the first letters come up, or if they fade in, the first, like the directed by or whatever, that's when the timer starts.
Okay.
And they could be like, cards or whatever. It could be whatever. Last week's bet, Nabashin, if you want to chime in here with your bet here, how many words?
What if it's like Super Smash Brothers?
Oh,
you can, like, somewhat.
If it's one of the weird ones, we'll discuss. Okay, because I feel like the last time, no, that was the easy allies ran into that, but we had.
If it's like Super Smash, then it's like that. It still rolls around.
Yeah, I would just say like
it's still on a set timer.
Yeah, the default without hitting start to fast forward, right? Just the length without. But if it's one of the ones where you have to scroll them with yourself with the analog stick, which I don't think it will be, then we'll discuss.
Even with the ones that you have to scroll with your analog stick, it generally auto scrolls, just really slow.
Yeah, depending.
So you have to just wait for the whole thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Whatever wait for the whole thing turns into. All right. So last week's bet: how many words will be in the most relevant launch tweet from the @PlaySpellBreak Twitter account, and how many emojis will there be? So this game launched on September 4th. They tweeted out when it launched. How many words, how many emojis? Nabashin.
3-0.
3 words, no emojis?
Yep.
So I had said 20 words, 5 emojis. This Twitter account used a lot of emojis. This is what was my thinking here. Scott said 15 words, 5 emojis. Tony said 10 words and 0 emojis. Let's see.
We did it.
There's a lot of words. It's over 20 words. It's well over. It's like 35 words, I think.
Hey, yo, get that emoji count.
There's 0 emojis, but there's one hashtag. Okay. So I had the most words right, but Tony had 0 emojis right. So I feel like, well, Namachi also said 0 emojis, but Tony said more words. I feel like it should be Tony's because he had one number correct and the other would be closest. That is
I won't complain.
my feelings for that.
Right.
Which brings us, boy, I am still killing it, y'all, at 3 points. I want to know what 3 bets I won. Nabashin in the lead still with 10 points. I think you won last week, Nabashin. That's what put you up ahead. Scott coming up with 7 points. Tony right behind you with 9 points. It's anyone's game but mine. So look forward to next week's bet. That's it. That's the show. Thanks everybody for hanging out. Thanks Danny Wiesner for opening music of 2-player co-op and our closing music of The World is Saved. Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Tony. Thank you, Nabashin, for joining me, as always. I love you, boys. Big hugs all the way around. I've been Alex O'Neill, your host this evening. Be kind to one another. Be good. Try and treat everyone with a little bit of extra kindness because everybody needs it today. But also, play your games. Stay irrational. We will talk to you all next week.
Talk about titles.
Talk about titles.
Sick.
You're good. Let my cat in. All right.
All right, so we got Rhythm Game Good Vibes, Daughter Hawkeye, and Pull Graphic Cards Out of Oven.
I like Daughter Hawkeye. She's I'm too stupid to remember anyone's name. What do you like, Tony?
All of them. I vote for all 3.
Okay. Scott, what do you like? Rhythm Game Good Vibes, Daughter Hawkeye, Pull Graphics Card Out of Oven.
I like the oven one.
I like the other one too. It's good. I like rhythm game good vibes just because
I like the oven one because people actually put their dead graphics cards in ovens to try and make them go again.
Oh wow, that seems like a bad idea.
Yeah, there's a process that's supposed to happen that isn't that. Where if you reheat some of the portions of the things, some of the connections will correct themselves for a little while. But like it's generally like a 2 to 3 month fix, and then it's broken again. And the oven is definitely not what you should be doing with any of those parts whatsoever.
It's like spraying your PS3 with a heat gun to get that solder melty a little bit, just to get it running again. I love it.
Because like what could be wrong is that a capacitor is gone and fried out
on
your graphics card, and like that specific process is not how you would fix a capacitor.
That's good. Maybe, yeah. I hope that was what the implication was.
No, but
I really hope.
I'm pretty sure it's a hey, look at what we've been cooking up.
We've been cooking up. Yeah, totally. Nabishin, what do you like?
About Mario?
What?
Do you inform Scott about Mario?
I took a look at the direct myself.
Okay. Yeah, that was one I figured you'd heard about. I'm excited.
Yeah, it was just apparently it appeared in my feed one day. I was like, oh, finally, one of these actually appeared in my feed. Let me take a look at it.
Yeah.
And I was like, cool. I'm kind of only interested in the Mario Sunshine.
Sure.
But
you don't want to play Galaxy again?
Well, All Stars.
Yeah.
But I'll have it, so I might check it out. But no, I wasn't really up on Galaxy.
Okay.
I didn't like how the movement that much.
Sure. Okay.
I thought everything else was great, but it was specifically how the attack worked.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. With them, like, there's a pro controller version of that game now, so that you won't have to shake the goddamn thing to attack.
It's not that. It's like the only attack is your swing.
Yeah. Sure.
I like the punchy kicky.
I'm excited for Mario Sunshine HD, man. Another game to escape the GameCube. Like one of 3 now, I think.
Oven.
You like the oven? Okay, I like the oven as well. I'm trying to think who. Nabishin, do you want to say the title and I'll say the number?
That was your thing, dude.
Sure, that's fair. We'll switch then. Whenever it's 480. Whenever you're ready.
This is the Irrational Passions Podcast, episode 480.
I wonder what we've been cooking up. Let me just pull this graphics card out of this oven.
What? Why would you do that?
I'm gonna keep all that in. That's it. That's the show. Thanks everybody so much for hanging out and watching. We love you all very much. Have a good night.